What is going on, everyone? Welcome to our must start and must sit goalies video. In today's video, I'm going to run through some goaltenders that I think you should absolutely start this week and some goaltenders that I feel you should keep on the bench. Before we start this video, let's hop over to our player of the day. In this segment, I will give you a random stat that's associated with the player, and in the comment section below, it is your job to figure out who that player is. The random stat today is: this player is leading all NHL defensemen with 40 shots in just 11 games. Who is this player? Leave your answers in the comment section below. The first goalie tandem that you should look to start or stream this week is Tukka Rask and Jaroslav Halak. Boston started the season off right where they left off. In their first 11 games, they have a record of 8-1-2 and are sitting at the top of their division. They have an easy schedule this week given the difficulty of their division, where they begin a road stand in New York with 2 games against the Rangers and 1 game against the Islanders. Both teams are 4-4-2 and have been struggling so far this season. Dating back to last year, Boston is the top defensive team in hockey and show no signs of regression. For teams with a minimum of 11 games played this season, Boston has allowed the least amount of goals, the second lowest Corsi, and the third fewest scoring chances. They've done a great job defending in their own end and on the penalty kill, which is extremely beneficial for goaltenders. Finally, we suspect that Boston's going to be pretty big favorites given the matchups, meaning the goaltenders are going to have a very good chance at winning. The second goaltender tandem that I would start this week is Connor Hellebuyck and Laurent Brossiot. For how difficult the Canadian division is, especially for goaltenders, the Winnipeg goalies see themselves in a pretty favorable week. They're on the road for 1 game against Calgary and finish the week at home with 2 games against the lonely Senators. Winnipeg is notorious for their poor defense, but have had plenty of success offensively. With the addition of Pierre-Luc Dubois hoping to make his debut this week, he adds a solid defensive-minded center that should provide more support in the defensive zone. Calgary is going to be a tough matchup, but Winnipeg should still be the favorite in the game. The Flames haven't had a game-breaking offense that we've seen from most of the teams in this Canadian division, and this is beneficial for goalies in Winnipeg. The 2 games at home against Ottawa is where you want to pick up and start Brossiot, assuming he gets the nod in one of the 2 games. Besides the Canucks, Ottawa has been a defensive disaster and haven't put together any offense. Winnipeg will be huge favorites in these games, and we're confident that Winnipeg will finish the week with at least 2 wins in the 3 games they play. The final goaltender tandem that I would start this week is Lehner and Marc-Andre Fleury. Other than the Bruins, the Golden Knights are the best defensive team in hockey. It's hard to identify defensive stats league-wide because they've only played 8 games, but in those 8 games, they've allowed just 18 goals, which is the least in the NHL. They also boast a 6-1-1 record at the time of this video, giving them the 4th highest win percentage in the league. Week 4 seems to be heavily in Vegas' favor, as they face off at home twice against Anaheim to begin the week. Following that, they have a back-to-back with 1 game against San Jose and 1 game against Colorado. Assuming the game against Colorado is played, you can look to sit whichever goalie is starting. Although Lehner has had a slow start to the season, the Golden Knights are one of the top teams in hockey and can easily end the week with 3 more wins. The first goalie I would sit this week is John Gibson and Ryan Miller of the Anaheim Ducks. Gibson has actually been the only bright spot on a poor Anaheim team, but the matchup against Vegas on the road this week is extremely unfavorable for him. At the time of this video, Vegas is averaging 3.5 goals for and over 32 scoring chances for per game. Gibson can help your team with save percentage, but if your league heavily favors goalies that wins games, it's definitely worth it to sit Gibson this week. The other must-sit goalie tandem this week is Igor Shesterkin and Alex Georgiev. The Rangers have been a nightmare defensively, dating back to the last 2 seasons, and it is getting a bit better this season as they see themselves right in the middle of the league. Regardless of that, the Rangers have a really tough schedule this week. They have a 4-game homestand, beginning on Monday against the Islanders, which is really the only good matchup for the Rangers. Following that, they have 2 games against the seemingly unstoppable Bruins, and then they end the week against the Flyers. Both Boston and Philly are at the top of the division with 8 wins apiece, and the struggling Rangers are going to be a pretty big underdog in those games. If you need a start, I would start either of the goalies against the Islanders and then against Philly. Boston is the most difficult matchup the Rangers are going to face all season, and it's very unfavorable to start either of those goalies in those matchups. That'll do it for a must start and must sit goalie video. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you haven't already, click the link in our description and join our Discord. The Fantasy Puck community is growing and we want all of you to be part of it. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.